Welcome to Crossroads Callings. I am your host, Chimere Brown, and this is a podcast dedicated to navigating life's pivots and discovering a pathway to true purpose and calling. Today, I am joined by an amazingly beautiful woman who literally takes life one step at a time. Pamiya Opoku is a wellness practitioner as well as a community builder and the founder of the Walking Hour. So we'll talk more about the Walking Hour a little bit later. But the Walking Hour is a movement rooted in nervous system regulation and reconnecting with the self through intentional movement. I want to welcome you, Pamiya, to the show.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here in this beautiful space.
Yes. And like I said, the sun is shining for you. Because the weather is all the things. You got your orange on.
Listen, shout out to my homegirl, Brittany, who was on your show. She told me to wear a bright color today at the gym. Mm-hmm. And so, I went with orange.
Yeah.
The sun is shining. Yesterday, my pastor Reginald Rain Sharp, said the sun is going to be you, the S-O-N, the S-U-N. So they're all coming.
I mean, amen.
Amen to that. Yes,
Because it adds to the vibe. It adds to the energy. And I just like being in a good space when we're doing this because you have such a robust story and people don't know behind the scenes. I do so much. I spoke about intentional movement. I have intentionality behind every guest, and especially those that have very kind of thought-provoking and really emotional journeys.
Emotional is a good word.
Yeah.
Very, very emotional.
And I don't really know where the conversation is going to go today, but I just wanted to be in the space to really meet you where you are.
And it's in sun, it's in light. So this is the perfect, it's in warmness, it's in love.
Okay.
So this day couldn't have been a better day. And it's funny because I almost chose the 10th, and I'm so glad I chose today because it's a start of something beautiful, the weather, everything. So it's very intentional. I feel so aligned.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell the audience a little bit more about you because I have a complete bio that I kind of want to give people a window into who you are before we get started.
Okay.
So Pamiya did something that I've only heard of people doing, I think, one other time, and that is she lost over 100 pounds just by walking.
Well, it was primarily by walking.
Yeah.
I lift weights. I'm a fitness instructor, but walking is how I keep it off. If I gain 5 pounds, it's coming off through a walk. It's so easy.
So that became essentially the foundation of everything: your lifestyle, your healing journey, and your upcoming book. And I want to get the name right. And I'm learning to use these, so please have a little bit of grace with me. Okay. So the book is called Good, Better, and Becoming, and it all kind of links her entire journey together. And like I said, she has this foundation and movement, and that is why I say she takes life one step at a time, because it's a cliche that she has literally made her life, and she's become such an inspiration through that. And I'm really looking forward to getting into your story because people think walking is so trivial. Like you see people running on the treadmill, breaking us a sweat, hurting themselves.
We're so in a rush.
Yeah.
And life is to be lived. And in order to live it, sometimes you have to slow down. So running, although I've done a half marathon, a few of them. I've done 5Ks. But walking, that's a slow down to speed up in everything.
Yeah.
And you still drop the weight. Your waist still snatched. Face still getting slimmer. Arms getting smaller. All of the things you would get by running, but you have slowed down to connect to so many parts of you, the mental and the physical. It's an added bonus that as a former runner, I can't say that I ever got that from running. There's a runner's high, but there's something like a walker's high that takes you even further than you can on running.
Yeah, I love that. It sounds like Pamiya is ready to get into this interview. Because she dropping gems already, and I haven't even asked a question. So that lets you know that this is about to be an amazing conversation. So it sounds like she's ready, and I hope you are too, because Crossroads Callings, it starts now. So I'm glad you started by speaking about walking, because that was my first question about like how did we even get here? Why walking?
Why walking?
Yeah.
So I think 2020, I think at that point I had lost about 55, 60 pounds, right? And throughout my journey. But we were locked in COVID. I'm like, well, we can't go to the gym. The gyms are literally closed.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? I had got a weighted vest from Aldi's. Shout out to Aldi's. And I went for a walk. And I was like, this felt good. And in COVID, it was like you either are home or you're at home. But walking, and I could do it without the mask.
Yeah.
And so it was funny because when at first I was like, this is like the unmasking of myself, because I then, walked everywhere I could. Got to go to the grocery store, let me walk, because I didn't want to hurry back home, because then you're just locked in.
Yeah.
And it just became a way for me to reconnect to what felt normal before COVID. And then I was like, wait a minute. Oh, wait, it's April. I done lost 10 pounds. We've been locked up a month or so now. Wait a minute, it's May. I'm at 70 pounds. What? And so the weight just kept dropping rapidly. It was kind of crazy. And then I was like, well, okay, I miss my friends. Well, what can we do safely that will allow us to connect, and we really can't go anywhere? So I started inviting friends to walk with me.
Okay.
And that's kind of how it's good to walk by myself. There's some healthy benefits of doing that by myself. And then there's some really important benefits of doing that with my friends.
Yeah.
Right? We could do it. It was cost effective. Nobody ever felt bad about going for a walk. I mean, I've gone out for brunch and I'm like, dang, did I just spend $250 between the brunch, stopping somewhere because we shopping? I'm like, well, walking, I maybe spent $15, got a coffee, maybe a salad afterwards. Because after you walk, you want to eat something healthy. And so it was just like, well, this is my new favorite way to connect with people. You haven't seen me in a while because I'm a soccer mom. Shout out to my daughter, Isabella. Love you. Come meet me at a game and I can walk with you. And that just became what I did.
So it wasn't about the weight loss then.
It was.
The weight loss happened, but the walking, you just wanted movement.
I just wanted movement, but because I'm so, I had lost 55 pounds. And at that point, so it was like, okay, I got to keep this journey going.
Yeah.
I want to keep going. And so it was partly what could I do to kind of meet life where I was, which was locked in COVID.
Right.
And the journey of the weight loss, I didn't want to stop that. So I just started incorporating it. And I started lifting weights in the house and then grew my home gym. So it just all became things that, how can I keep moving? I cannot let the stagnant that is COVID stop me.
Have you always had some issues with your weight? Has
Absolutely.
that been a challenge all your life?
I was the fat friend. I was cute though and could dress. But
Come
I was
on,
a fat
face
friend.
card.
But I was a fat friend.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Even as a child, though?
As a child, I was big, but I was a cheerleader. I was on the bowling team. I was popular. I was one of the popular girls, but I was overweight. And it wasn't until adulthood where really the weight then becomes an issue.
What was it about adulthood that made weight an issue? Did you have any health scares at the?
My mom, congestive heart failure. I've also helped my mother lose 100 pounds naturally. So I'm sure we'll get into that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that too, because you mentioned one of your crossroads is that your parents were dealing with issues with respect to heart failure and diabetes,
high blood pressure. So all of those things were looming as things I could possibly have to deal with. And so then being overweight and then having a baby at 25, I didn't want to be the fat mom. So all of those things started to I would see them, and which is why I started the journey. But seeing my mom on oxygen, having to wheel that around, I was like, we gotta catch this before we get there. I didn't know what it was gonna look like. So that's why I initially started my journey, is because I did not want to be the fat mom, and I then didn't want to get congestive heart failure.
Yeah. I want to bring up something that I actually don't have in my notes, because we're in the world today where it's all about body positivity and loving yourself, no matter how you look. But then there's a thin line between being body positive and being really mindful of your health. Do you identify with the difference between the two? Because it seems like you did had good self-esteem.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I never really... my weight and being overweight, it was a thing that I knew, but it didn't stop me from everywhere. I was a scholar, I was a cheerleader, I could flip, I could tumble, so it didn't really limit me. It wasn't, like I said, until I got older where I felt like, whoa, now I shouldn't be proud of my body, now I should try and lose weight. But when I was a teenager, it was all about being joyful in life and happy, and then all of a sudden adulthood reminds you that you're fat. And
what was the first reminder that you had? Because you seemed like when you were younger, you were okay about it.
yeah, I was.
And you were never bullied about it.
No, what was the first adult reminder? I think that wanting to date, that whole now women who are more fit, like it was that, and go on an interview. And
Was it social media that did this to you?
I think it definitely, because now you're more aware of what other people look like.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like you have this limited scope, and now you have this broader scope, and you're like, do I fit that scope?
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with me now So yeah, social media definitely did not help. You know, again, I was always positive about what I looked like, but then it started to make you second guess yourself.
Yes.
And the love that you were willing to once show your body so naturally, now you're like, do I really love my body?
It made you second guess everything.
Social media.
Or should I love this body as it is because it's telling me that fat women don't deserve this and that and the other. It's a lot of kind of bad connotations in the media.
Yes, and then don't add the fact that I'm chocolate too.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, child.
I was a chunky kid, and I identify with that because I'm Jamaican American.
Okay.
And a sign of wealth is having a healthy kid, because if you were skinny or a MAGA, that means you were ill. So if I got good grades, I got food. And my grandmother always had a very hearty breakfast of porridge and fried plantain, and I always had the food, and it wasn't.
And my cocoa bread, I'm Ghanaian,
Yeah.
so I understand how my cocoa bread and tea with lots of sugar. Yeah.
And so you understand like why I didn't know I was fat again until I got older as well. It happened for me when I was a kid, because this one guy called me fat, black, and ugly, and I had no idea, because in my mother's house it was fine. So it's amazing how you can be raised with such esteem, and it'd be little things.
It's the outside world, this perfect image, and so my dad was from Ghana. When we went there, everybody was
sturdy,
right?
healthy.
So I think I'm normal.
Yeah.
So social media. And even still now, I'm mindful even of what I allow myself to scroll and look at. Mm-hmm. So I follow models of all sizes, all shapes, because that is really what the world is. So I don't want to just focus on one image of what a positive body is. Everybody has a positive body, because positive body starts with the mind, really.
Yeah.
What we see is only one small part of it.
That's true. I do want to talk about the birth of the walking hour, because you mentioned that you started walking during COVID, and then you started inviting your friends. Was that the inception of the walking hour?
No, so it kind of so 2020 was COVID, like the height of it. Yeah. The walking hour was really born in 2024, because then you don't do things because you're scared. Because what if I can't make it? Think of the social media. What if I can't make this like social media? So, I started having this passion. It started with me teaching classes, but even the teaching classes, and I love my classes, but it still was missing something. And I was like, I just want to connect with women, because when I'm teaching, I can't really ask you, how was that? Did you get everything you needed to start your podcast? I can't really connect with you in that way. So I think I still was looking for connection in a way that the movement of teaching a class didn't give me. And I was like, I need to still slow down. COVID, things were still looming. So that's how the walking hour got started. I was out walking. I can remember the night vividly. I was out walking by myself. I was on the phone with my bestie. Shout out to Toya. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, it would be great if I could just text somebody and be like, hey, you want to go for a walk, girl, in the neighborhood? Yeah. And she was like, man, you should start a walking club. And so I got a logo made. In that coming January, because Chicago winters, it could be nice a little bit, I was having my first mammogram. Okay. And I was like, what if I just make it like a movement? And so I invited people to Bronzeville Winery.
Okay.
I went on my mammogram. I recorded everything. We did like a little walk. Then we went to Bronzeville Winery because I'm all about supporting small businesses as we gather in community. Mm-hmm. And I talked about the whole experience of the monogram. We talked about how walking was refreshing that afternoon, evening. And then I said, oh, this is a vibe.
Yes.
And then it just grew.
And then you just grew like a distro of people who just wanted to walk too. Where do you walk? Like
everywhere.
Okay.
If you tell me your grandmother is selling cakes and pies on her block,
we walk into Granny's house.
We walk into Granny's house. We're gonna walk the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I want to start doing that and then cleaning up these neighborhoods too.
In your own words, describe what the walking hour is.
It's a place to be. It's a place to unmask. You don't have to talk about work. Some people come with their headphones. It's a place to just move your body, build community, support, show up with nothing other than your body. Yeah. It doesn't cost you anything but your time. But you get that back in how you are able to show up for yourself after that walk. So if I had to describe the walking hour, it's joy.
Okay.
It's joy.
Because it almost seems like a place where women are, dare I say, laying your burdens down. Because whatever you're weighted with in that moment, in that hour that you guys are walking, you just kind of releasing.
You release it. You don't think about it.
Yeah. Has this helped keep the weight off?
It has definitely helped keep the weight off.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, last year I got a job of I got the title, the money, everything was great. But I was so stressed out for the job. While I was working out, I had picked up about 10 pounds because I did not have the time to walk. And soon as I incorporated walking right back into my diet, the weight dropped off. And I was, again, still working out, lifting weights and doing all that. I think sometimes we look at walking as too simple.
Yes.
And you can't, it can't be that easy.
Yeah.
And it really is that easy for you. It's like your body needs it, your mind needs it. And so if the two are working together to achieve the overall weight loss goal, you're going to find that not only will you lose the weight, but you're like, man, my thoughts are clear. I'm sleeping better. I'm breathing better. Everything is better. I always tell people I've had the best credit since I started walking.
Really? What is the connection?
I think it's because I'm more focused. I'm looking, I might scroll and look at what I've spent. Like, dang, I really spent this. Or, oh, let me remember to pay that bill. Because I'm slowing down to think of my thoughts. Everything that's going on around me. Oh, I know I got a red light ticket that I go in and pay because I don't want to get it to go to collections. Like, all of those things I'm able to process when I'm slowing down and being intentional of focusing in, which has resulted to making sure payments are on time.
Yeah.
I invest here and so I tell people I've become more financially astute because I don't forget things.
Yeah, there's so many scientific data points and research studies that have been done about walking, and I'm not sure if you knew that before you got started, but it even links to lowering cortisol levels and regulating your nervous system. And actually, it's been proven that walking is actually better than running. In some cases.
Yes, I'm familiar with that. My mom has dementia.
Okay.
She just got recently diagnosed. I can tell you when she and I walk, it's like, what dementia?
Really?
Oh, the memory, the cognitive thinking comes
It jumps right back.
It comes right back. And if you add music to it, oh my goodness. I play music all the time, and she's like, oh, is that Jill Scott? Was that Anthony Hamilton? And she's calling them by name. She hasn't listened to this music in long, but when she hears it, she remembers because we're moving our body as we're doing it. So yeah, I didn't know how much walking could help until the thick of things of the walking hour.
Yeah.
When people were like, man, I was having some joint pain, but I started walking, doing 10, 15 minutes in the morning, 10 at night, and that went away. So when you were in pain, you moved your body, and now you don't hurt anymore?
It seems almost counterproductive because your instinct when you're in pain is to be still and to kind of almost nurse it. You want to nurse the pain. Yeah. But the fact that they're getting up and moving beyond it, now the body almost has to respond. And there's some nuggets in here, and there's a connection here. I feel like in a spiritual way, almost like when you nurse pain, you almost give it life.
You give it life to do something different.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a scab,
yeah,
a cut, right?
The longer you wear the Band-Aid, the worse that it gets. But once you kind of remove it
and let it breathe,
let
it be natural.
Yeah, then it starts to almost heal.
Before people had cars, before they had buses, they were walking to places. They weren't running. You can't run. Like I said, I'm from Ghana. You can't run and get water from the well. You have to walk with it.
Yeah.
So people were walking way before anything, but we don't like to slow down.
Right.
The results of walking, just like the results of healing, are slow.
Yes.
You have to go through it.
I want to talk about that because you say there's an excerpt in your book, and I'm going to be referencing her book throughout this interview, that you said you thought growth had to feel intense and exhausting to be real. And as we're talking about walking, there are people that walk fast. I have a friend that walks fast, and I'm just like, go on, girl, I'll catch up. But when you're talking about keeping pace and slowing down, that's an opposite of what you were thinking with respect to what you thought growth
looked like.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit.
You know, you always think you have to arrive somewhere fast. You're a certain age, you got a certain degree.
Yeah.
You should be there already. It's the same with walking. It's like, if you just slow down and get there, you still get there.
You still get there.
You still get there. And then you can have wisdom for the next time you may show up in a similar situation, right? But if you're rushing through it, you're like, wait, what did I do? What were the step points? But if you're really going through the motions, which is why I think over the last 2 years since I've started the walking hour, the weight has been easier to keep off, because the one thing that I go back to when I see it creep up is walking. I don't add more weights. I don't get in the gym like that.
And work harder.
I slow down more. What am I stressing about? I have alopecia. I notice that when I walk more and my nervous system is better, I don't have to take the medication.
Yeah. That's such an interesting perspective. I do want to take a pause there, because you mentioned stress as it relates to work, and taking the walking time as a way to kind of decompress. But you had a series of kind of fallbacks in your professional career. You were in HR probably for about a decade in human resources, but then you had a couple of dream jobs that didn't fulfill the dream. I say it that way. I want you to talk about that time and how your ability to slow down helped you navigate those seasons.
It really allowed me to, what do I really want?
Yeah, what was the job situation though? Because you said I had some dream jobs that fell apart, and I wanted to know what the scenario was.
So there's one that, this is about to take this interview in a whole different way. There was one, I had an African-American leader. She was really great. They basically wanted her to write me up and try to fire me, and she refused.
Why?
Because I was going against the grain.
Okay.
I was trying to bring walking into the workplace. I was really trying to just grow the team, and I called out a leader, and she didn't like what I had to say.
Oh no, okay. You said a little, but you said a lot. Because certain leaders don't like to be called out, and who you are also kind of maybe affected the ego a little bit. Okay, that explains a lot. So they wanted your leader to write you up.
And she refused. And, I'm stressed, and I saw her get fired.
Because she didn't write you up?
Because she didn't write me up.
Yeah, because it was insubordination, even though she didn't believe in it. Oh, wow.
And so that just really made me look at being in corporate so different, because they had an investigation, and I'm just like, people are not telling the truth because they're scared. I get it.
Yeah, they don't want to be let go either.
They don't want to be let go
Yeah,
either.
So it's easy to come against you and her to save themselves.
They will always save themselves.
Yeah.
And I think, and again, whether the leader is brown or not, leaders are always going to save themselves. So you have to remember that.
Yes. That is...
And figure out how you want to navigate those spaces. And walking allowed me to slow down. Every time I would kind of get into a role and there would be leaders and there would be all this tension in the workplace, walking was my way. Where do I really want to go with this opportunity? Check back in. Are you ready to be your own CEO of your own life? Because going down their spiral path is stressing you out.
Right.
And that one led me to total my car, get arrested. So, like, the aftermath of that.
Just because you were just out of whack?
Yeah, well, you shouldn't drink and drive.
Okay, so you were stressed.
And, yeah. So it was the result of, and I was actually leaving the manager's house that day because she had got fired. So I went to, like, take her flowers and apologize. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You got fired trying to save me.
Yes. And you internalized some of that. Probably had a little bit of guilt.
Absolutely. She has 3 kids.
Yeah. So she had a family.
And you did what we all wish somebody would do.
Yes.
And they terminated you for that. And so that scarred me.
Did they terminate you as well?
They didn't. I walked out before they could, but I think because they didn't have a real reason.
Yeah.
And she knew that, which is why she was like, I'm not writing her up for this.
Right. Because it's not against anything in an employee handbook. It's not against, it's like, I'm not going to write her up because your feelings are hurt. And as a Black woman in corporate America, I don't like incompetence. I've tried to be very mindful of not putting people on blast because they don't like that. And I don't like that either. But it's something about when you don't like incompetence and then people propose something for a project, for example, and you're the one that asks the hard questions. And it's almost like you're poking holes in it, but you're not trying to. You're really looking for clarity. You think it's stupid, but you're like,
I want to make sure that we can carry this through.
Yeah, I would just want to see, maybe I'm wrong. Let me ask these questions and have it be met with so much pushback and anger. And I realized it wasn't what I was asking. It was it was me. You didn't want it to come from me.
You didn't. I couldn't have more ideas about how we could really change our organization from a wellness perspective because it didn't come out of your mouth.
Yes.
I challenged the way we were going about our comp philosophies. They didn't like that.
Yeah.
So one little mistake turned into now it's the worst. Like, and it wasn't really. And so it just was a spiral effect. And I really thank this manager for trying to protect me.
Where did you go after that?
To another stressful job.
Okay. Was that another dream job?
It was another dream job. And this one had the paycheck. So I was like, I got to make this work. I got the title and the paycheck.
Because you just came out of some chaos, which that situation is not unusual that what Black women experience on a regular basis. So I just want to say I understand. But then you went from one stressful job to another one. I also understand that one too. What was different though in this situation?
What was different? Like the stress? What was different about
with the opportunity? Because you said it was another dream job, but then it was another
could travel and I was going to be able to build a benefits plan. So I'm real big into I do employee benefits. Mm-hmm. And so I think employees should have robust benefits to be able to really live and maximize their life. So I was going to be able to build that from the ground up. So I'd done it in corporate and not-for-profit. So I was going to be able to really offer employees something that they could really benefit from.
Yeah.
And so that was...
You were excited.
I was excited.
Yeah.
And it was not even the work that I was going to do and how I was going to help save the organization money. It was how I was going to help people. I was going to give you a benefit that was really going to impact how you and your family live because you're doing a hard work that I could never do.
Yeah. Where did it go left?
When I was out for Valentine's Day trying to hang out with my girlfriends and my boss is emailing me, like, you forgot to do this. Lady, it's Friday and it's Valentine's Day.
What did you forget to do that was so urgent? Because you don't work in medicine, right? So
I work, it was like surrounding, 1095s that we had to send out. But it was something that it's Friday.
It could have waited.
It was a, hey, maybe you want to make sure you do this maybe even before Monday.
Yeah.
You could have texted me Saturday afternoon.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay.
But Friday night, and I told you I had plans. You were fully aware that I wasn't going to be home.
Right.
Or guess what? It was something that as my leader, you could have done too. You had access to it. But because you're a leader, you know you can delegate.
So
And
she wanted you to do it.
So I wasn't part of a team.
Okay.
I was being dictated to.
Okay.
I had to perform, and if I didn't do it the way you wanted, now it's wrong.
Okay. So did you leave or did they put you out?
So that position, I got fired
Okay.
March 30th, but then was told I was required to work an additional 30 days. But I could
How? Okay. Slow down.
And I got the screenshots to prove it.
How
You
am
are
I-
required to work 30 days.
Why is that?
Oh, because
Are you a doctor?
I am not a doctor.
Because usually with doctors, and I know people in the medical field, if they let you go in your contract, it's like a 30 or 90-day period
even
somewhere.
in some senior leadership roles.
Yeah, there's like
those
a
clauses.
like we fired you, but because of this contract, you still need to be here for this
This wasn't
time.
that.
Okay, because that was like I don't remember you telling me you were in medicine, and so I'm trying to understand. So they fired you, and they for that reason for the I was saying it.
That wasn't even why I got fired. I basically got fired because I told a leader that unfortunately, because you're still technically an employee, I cannot give you a distribution out of your 401k. Well, I was told at the time of sale when I sold it, I know what you were told. Unfortunately, you were told by someone who was doing a role outside of their scope and gave you bad information. I cannot authorize that transaction. And so my boss...
Because you would have been liable.
I would have been, hello?
Yeah.
Uncle Sam would have been like, why'd you approve that?
Yeah, and it would have been fireable anyway.
Anyways, right? Because now there's going to be fines to it.
Yeah.
So that same leader who texted me on Valentine's evening was like, well, you could have, instead of just sending him an email rejection, you should have called him first to tell him you couldn't approve the transaction. And I said I wouldn't have called any other employee. So you wanted me to treat a owner differently that I wouldn't have treated the janitor, is what you're telling me. I said, I did the...
Pamiya, like when I tell you, I feel like we've lived the same life. We have lived the same life because I had a similar conversation with some senior leadership. I'm not in HR, by the way, but I'm in project management. I had a situation where I had to say no. And that senior leader complained to me. She went as high up as she could go. And the answer was no, but my skip level was like, Chimere, there's ways you can say no. And I was like, give me an example.
Right, like how would you say no to no? How do you say no to no?
I'm like, you know what, Lisa, we can't do this. This is not, and this is why we can't do this. And I was like, so what else did you want me to say? And it's amazing
how to perform.
Yes, how they require things from you that they wouldn't require. They don't require themselves. And so you said no.
So we always have to be perfect.
Yeah.
Our no has to be perfect.
Yes, better than. And you were put between a rock and a hard place, literally, because had you said yes and did it, then you would still be in the same scenario because it was something you shouldn't have been doing.
The law,
legally.
The legally. I didn't do it because the law says I can't do that transaction.
Yeah, okay. And so they fired you from that.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you now? Are you a full-time entrepreneur now?
I'm with God now.
Okay.
I am. I don't know. What I will say is that after that, I did do a contract job that ultimately wanted to extend me an offer, but they couldn't because they didn't have the funding. They actually just reached out last week and offered me 20 hours. But anyway, right now I am trying to find the hot spot of I like being in corporate, but maybe I don't need to be an employee. Maybe I need to be a contractor.
Yeah.
So right now how do I bring well-being to employees? That's always been my goal, to make employees feel better. So how is what I've created with Good, Better, Becoming, my knowledge of the rates of burnout and turnovers and all of those things, because we don't have healthy employees. The amount that employers are spending on health care because we have everybody on so many different prescriptions. But if we just gave them some time to work out or walk, maybe we could reduce that. So now it's how do I use that insider knowledge that I've had being in all of those benefit meetings and board calls, and how do I use that to help organizations? But really I want to give your employees more time back. I want to reduce burnout. I want them to want to stay at their job and not leave and be able to handle that crazy leader because they take time for themselves. So whether that's a walk, whether that is they, find a doctors that they don't have to drive around for their kids. I want to help them. How do we give benefits that really help people?
You're trying to marry what you love doing from the walking hour and Good, Better, Becoming, and we'll get more into the book as I'm going through the questions. You want to bring that into a corporate space.
I do.
And it's like you just haven't been afforded the luxury to do that. And shout out to them for giving you them 20 hours because I was laid off for a year. I just got back into corporate. And I think I'm dealing with a lot of the PTSD I've dealt with in the past. And I'm in a new space now, and I'm realizing it's not them, it's me. Ooh. And I've had to take a lot of time to myself because I had to tell myself, no one's hurting you. No one is giving you microaggressions. Actually, they like your ideas and they're listening to you. And I'm so used to having to fight where I'm in a place now in corporate America that I don't know how to just be.
Is that how to just show up?
Yeah, that's all I got to do is show up and be enough. And I identify where you are, where you're like, I'm not sure yet. I think I want to be. I just want to.
I need benefits though.
Insurance is expensive these days. The way they did all the things.
City of Hope in Humble Park Healthcare for helping me get a free mammogram because that was the thing about not working. Like I gotta still be healthy, right?
Right.
I want to be able to take these walks, and so it's just like I think that's as a single woman, that's the one like, okay, healthcare is expensive. If I'm an entrepreneur, then how much that I then have to pay for healthcare, right? But if I work for someone and I can still operate in my purpose and passion and have health insurance, for me, that's a nice balance, right?
Yeah.
So I know that I'm not chasing a manager title right now because I know that's not going to allow me to focus on purpose. And right now I'm in a season of purpose is more important than the corporate structure.
Yes.
It's really now 60-40. The role has to align with allowing me to operate in my purpose as an author, as a speaker, and all of those
and
things.
Even with the walking hour, because I feel like it's helping the community, but it's really it is giving you life.
It is giving me life.
Yeah.
I think I tell people all the time, I'm the most joy when I'm leading a walk or leading a fitness class.
Yeah.
The smile on my face.
Which is why you call it joy. When I asked you to describe it, I said, describe the walking hour. You said joy. And it's joy because it brings you joy.
It brings me joy.
Yeah.
Going to a business and starting to walk there, and they say, man, our sales increased $400 in this hour that your walkers were here. That's somebody maybe being able to buy their kids soccer cleats.
Yeah.
They're able to give a bonus to their staff. So it's just like all we got to do is show up and support each other. That's easy.
That is easy. It's easier said than done. And I feel like what you're trying to do in a corporate space is honorable. But the reality is that corporate America in the United States is not built for the whole person.
They don't.
It's not built. They say it is, but not really. Because if it was truly, there wouldn't be burnout and people wouldn't be on anxiety meds and antidepressants. You
wouldn't even need a PIP because then you would show your employee
grace.
Hello, you don't need a PIP.
Yeah.
Right? If we're sitting in meetings figuring out how we write up more people as opposed to how we get them to the place we need them to be.
Yeah.
Maybe that would be our time better spent. No, but I was on a project where the goal was to figure out how to set up a PIP plan. They didn't have a formal system of writing up people. I'm like, why are we focusing on this versus how do we make sure, why aren't we building up our library so that people can have tools to focus and as a reference and resource for how to do their job better.
Yeah, instead of that being a course of action, and especially I feel like if they did that first part, you wouldn't need the PIP, like you said, because now we're empowering you to do better and be better. I do want to talk about something because you mentioned being arrested in alcohol, and you slid past that. And only
Just
reason
like I did in that accident, child.
yeah, and the only reason I'm bringing it up because one of your crossroad moments you mentioned decentering alcohol.
Yeah, I got a DUI.
Yeah, tell us about that because I remember you saying yes, you didn't consider yourself an alcoholic.
Absolutely not.
But you were an occasional drinker.
I'm a social drinker. When I'm out. So there's two things.
Yeah.
Pretty girl privilege. Everybody want to buy you a drink.
Yeah. Okay.
So when you're pretty, 3 people want to buy you a drink. Plus you had 2 drinks. That's 5.
Yeah.
I'm really cute. So
it's the ones the starter drink that you bought yourself, and then it's all the other drinks. And plus, you got really good energy and you're personable. So you talking to everybody and you smiling and
exactly.
Yeah. You keeping company, and it's like, you know what? Give her another one.
Give her another one.
Yeah, and then you know what? I don't want her to leave. I'm gonna give her another one. And so before you know it, it's easily to be caught in that. But you were going through some things in these corporate situations, though, that was kind of aiding in it. So it wasn't just the alcohol.
Yeah, but it's that learning to say no. It's that, and we're not taught that. I said, so this process really lets me know that we do everything with alcohol and food in America.
Yes.
And that kind of saying no. Like I felt like I probably don't need another one, but like you said, oh, she's so nice, get her another one. No, I've had enough. So it's that slippery slope, and I got a DUI, and it's forever changed my life. Because first of all, decentering alcohol with the walking, body is tea.
Yeah, but let's talk about something though, because I'm a social drinker as well, and I had the same conversation with a friend of mine who's also took a break from alcohol just to get his health right. And but the thing that came up in both of our stories is, one, like you said, how much alcohol is embedded into social interactions in general. Also, how your friends and people around you treat you when you say, hey, I'm not drinking. Then it's just like, well, what's wrong? You okay?
What medicine are you taking?
And are you having difficulties? Is there something? And he's like, no, I'm just not drinking right now. Really? So it's, yes, you want to decenter it. Yes, it's embedded. But then you don't realize how everybody treats you around you. I told my homeboy, I was like, you realize how much your friends really suck. When you take a break from drinking, because all they want to do is they want to know why you're not drinking and when you will be drinking again. Because this is what we do. This is part of the fun. So tell me about what your journey was like as you tried to decenter alcohol and how that changed your social circles.
Well, thank goodness I have some really good friends, because I will say that they all looked at how alcohol, and I had another friend who just had a DUI. So like you would think I would have known better, right? I think we were just like, let's look at things that we can do together that have nothing to do with alcohol.
For example,
we went on more walks. I think that's kind of when it picked up with them. Like, yeah, when we walking, we really don't drink, and if we do, then we're walking the entire way. Like, there's no driving, there's no meeting up. For me, I just was able to reflect more by myself. I chose, I started going to more art galleries. I started going, I went to the movies for the first time, I think after it, because I hadn't been to the movies in so long.
Yeah.
Then I was like, oh, well, at the movie theaters you can drink now. Well, that's interesting.
You sure can.
It's just like everywhere.
It is everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
And I just was like, you're not safe from anywhere. But when it comes to my friends, I think we started doing things at home more so that we could really relax and not feel like you have to move. And then I just had to learn right now. I gave it up for Lent. So after that it happened, I was able to give it up for Lent because I wanted to just.
So you're still doing it? You still on the okay?
I still this was last year's Lent. I did it.
Okay.
I gave it up.
And that was like 40 days. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
40 days. This year I'm doing it no spirits, so no hard alcohol. I had some champagne.
Yeah.
But for me, it was just I really have to learn to say no. And I think as I've learned to say no, my friends are more mindful. So I will say that. I never expected anyone to be like, I'm going to join you on this journey of like not drinking and not while we're out, but But I think they were just also, they became way more mindful of how much they drank when they were out.
Yes.
We don't need to pregame. So if we're going to drink when we're out, we don't need to pregame.
Yeah.
Pick your poison.
Yeah.
We love a pregame.
It's like I said, the pregame sets the tone, especially if it's somebody. Don't let it be somebody's birthday. Because the main question during all, and I have birthday parties. I'm a birthday person.
Girl, what's your sign?
I'm a Libra, September Libra.
Okay,
and
I'm a Virgo.
I celebrate the whole month of September. Are you September Virgo?
I'm an August Virgo.
Yeah. The point is, there's some
very
similar.
My daughter's a Libra, so I get you.
Yeah, and so the first question is, so where are we pre-gaming at? What we about to, and you know that we about to go out to this party, and I got alcohol and all the things here, but like it is just part of the social thread.
Sir Davis at home. Why would I be going? Like I'm a pregame.
Yeah, I have a small bar at home too.
Yeah.
So it's just part of it. But you said something that stood out to me. You said you're learning how to say no. Tell me about your relationship with the word no before this time.
I don't ever believe I was a people pleaser, but I think I tried to be mindful of people and the things and the way I responded to them.
Okay.
So while I was always comfortable saying no, I would always say, is this at my max? And if it wasn't, I would roll with it. Not to people please, but just I'm cool. I can roll with it. Now it's just I am not saying yes to anything that A, puts me in a dangerous situation, and B, with understanding how alcohol just is not good for us from a body. It takes the walking, the working out
Away.
10 steps backwards.
Yeah.
It's just like I am not going to rush and say yes to things that just don't align to where I want to go from a wellness perspective. And I think something that happened after this DUI was like, God was like, listen, I can't give you a wellness platform if you don't know how to be well fully. And that includes saying no. And not no just to alcohol, but no to people.
Yeah.
Because when we think about the movement it's well-being, not just I look good physically, it's mentally. So being able to say no from a healthy, loving place is something that I had to just do. And now I just know, even with my social, bubbly personality, I can't go to everybody's everything.
How long did it take you to learn that? Is this a new journey for you?
It
feels new.
So I'm 40. I'll be 43 this year. It took me about 40 years.
Yeah,
41 and a half.
and that's okay. Because some things are embedded from childhood. Like you say, you're a popular kid. And one thing about popular kids, they love the energy of being liked.
And I was an only child.
And you add that on top of it.
My mom's only child, yeah.
Yeah.
So and then my dad always had people over, there's parties. So that just became what I thought should be my life. It's like, yeah, no, you cannot show up to everybody's everything. You cannot go to the funeral, you cannot go to the sports thing, you cannot go to the recital. Sometimes you have to just send a check. Be grateful that you can. But sometimes that's all you got.
Has that been hard for you?
It has been hard.
Yeah, it feels like it.
It has been hard.
I feel like a pull. It's almost what I feel from you is like a pull.
Because I want to be there.
I would say between what you want to do and what you need to do. Yeah.
It is something that I have to practice saying. I think I've done this the last 2 years too. In January, I don't commit to anything on Saturdays.
Okay.
Not that I won't do anything, but I don't commit in advance. Mm-hmm. Because you go through that holiday season where you're doing everything, you're showing us everything, and then by January you're burnt out.
Yes.
But instead of like realizing and addressing the burnout, you keep going to something. You go to something MLK weekend. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's Martin Luther King, baby. How am I honoring my dreams? Like maybe not showing up is how I spend time honoring my dreams, right? If you really want to live like MLK. So I started to do things like that where it's like, who am I really aligning myself to if I'm saying yes to everything?
Yeah.
Not to me. I think I've always known I wanted to put out a body of work, but I wasn't sitting still long enough to do it.
Right. Wow. Talk about maturity.
walking, the mindset. So like this part of me, this version of me comes from the mindset of the positive things I'm walking. Because I'm able to get in tune with myself. And so this is what I'm now able to output. So that's why I always say you slow down to speed up in life.
Yeah. I had some excerpts here. You said that in one of the excerpts, you mentioned that softness didn't take my power. It gave me access to it. Let's talk about that, because it seems like with slowing down, and every time you talk about slowing down, it's like it's like a calm. But in the midst of that calm, it seems like there's a strength there. And for a woman listening who feels like she has to be strong and loud to be heard, what does it mean to make decisions from a place of softness?
Being able to say, girl, I'm so happy for you. I sent you some flowers.
Yeah.
I love you, but I can't make it. It's giving the love.
Yes,
it's acknowledging.
it is.
But can we get together next Sunday, being intentional, to celebrate that for you? Because this is a big deal, girl.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you, but on that day, my plate is already full. So it's still showing up in love. It's still showing up in joy. But we may have to do things a little bit different. We have to pivot.
Yes.
So the original plan, you wanted me to celebrate on Friday. I can't. But next Sunday at 2, are you free? Let's do it then, girl.
I will say I identify with you in so many ways, because there was a time I felt like I had to go to everything as well. And during this season in which I was laid off, I didn't have it. I didn't have it to bring the vibes. Because I didn't have
Because you're the vibe bringer too.
Yes,
Yeah.
I didn't have it to
and
bring.
That's a lot too.
Yeah, and I'm the friend that will call and check on everybody and make sure they're okay. And I didn't have it, and I realized when I scaled it back, because I had to take care of myself, that nobody met me where I dropped the ball. Like, no, and you start looking at a lot of things differently, where I said from a place of softness, just saying, now just send the flowers, and now throw the money in the card, and now I'm okay with stepping back, because at this point I'm still putting the pieces back together, and nobody came to save or help me. And not that I'm like, y'all didn't help me, so I'm not helping y'all. What I'm saying is, I don't have it to give anymore. My cup is completely empty. I need to take care of me. And it sounds like that's what you're doing now, pouring back into yourself.
Into me.
Yeah.
I am very much the send an audio text friend.
Yeah,
if you
me
got
too.
court
Yeah.
in the morning, or if your mama having surgery.
You dropping a prayer on the beeline,
I'm like, it's a random Wednesday. I'm reminding my friends, get up, girl, and go, and do something for yourself. Give yourself 20 minutes of joy today.
Yeah.
Figure it out, and then text me what it is later. And if you don't text me, I'm that friend. But I realize, I still am that friend. Nothing will make me not be that friend. But I think I don't prioritize showing up for people before I show up for myself. And there was a time, and I can say this, as being an only child and having like just always being on for people, that like I felt like I needed to always do that. But I don't need to keep auditioning for friendships that I already have.
Yeah, you took the pressure off a little bit.
Like
yeah,
I got to.
Yeah.
I don't have to audition. We locked in, girl. So I was like, girl, you're locked in with them. Slow. You cannot. And you don't, because things like the DUI happen when you are not showing up places fully, because then you're not mindful.
Yes.
You're just doing whatever you got to do when you get there.
Right.
Slow down.
You're moving too fast.
You're moving too fast.
Yeah, I want to talk about relationships, because you mentioned as it relates to your friendships, you had to realize, like, we've already invested the time, we're friends. So I don't have to keep proving myself and proving that I'm a great friend. But then you revealed something very vulnerable in a moment where you felt like you were begging for love.
Ooh, I knew this was going to come up, and it's ironic that you comes up today, because the picture from a solo trip that I took because that man told me I begged. We were supposed to go to Miami.
Okay.
And I canceled the Miami because he broke up with me.
Okay.
I'm not even going to say that. He broke up with me, and I was like, what am I going to do? I paid for the trip already.
Right.
And I called her. They're like, well, you could take, you can have a credit. We got a great deal to Mexico. I was like, Mexico by myself? Now, again, I've traveled, been to Bali, all the things. I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. And on that trip, I was like, I never want another man to make me feel like I'm begging for a relationship.
Yeah, the only reason I brought it up is because it seems like walking is a common thread that is kind of knocking down the walls in all areas of your life. From corporate America to how you regulate, to dismantling the need and attachment for alcohol, to your friendships, to the relationship with your parents and managing their health, and then even a relationship with yourself. And when you say you take a moment to slow down and you start looking at all of the things, it's a part of you that obviously came up during this season. Tell us about this conversation, because I usually don't talk about relationships on my show, but because you brought it up as a crossroad moment, I felt like there was a lesson that people can learn. Because when you talk about relationships, I think you open yourself up for people's opinion.
Absolutely.
And so I'm very cautious. I tread lightly, not with just you as my guest, but with all of my guests, because I don't want people to think they have the right to speak on your experience and how you may have learned to love improperly or whatever this situation is. So I wanted you to share it in a way that you're comfortable, but I wanted you to be able to link it back to how you learn to navigate it through personal wellness.
I think for me, walking it became how I loved myself, right?
Yeah.
And so I realized that in order for someone to love me, they had to get a cheat code from me. So how was I not showing up in love and joy in my relationships with men that allowed them to treat me this way?
How did he mistreat you? Because he said you were begging. That is a strong word. What was his
I did
feedback?
more of the pursuing. When I look back on it, I did more of the making sure we had connection. So when you start to do the emotional labor of a man in a relationship.
So you were planning the dates and all of the things.
I was making sure everything. Like
you were dating him and he wasn't dating you.
Thank you.
Okay.
And
or you weren't dating each other. It wasn't mutual.
It wasn't mutual. And I had to first identify that that's what it was.
Yeah.
That came on a long walk. It's not easy to just tell yourself that you probably did more than you
should have.
You should have.
You should have probably matched his energy a little bit.
Yeah, you should have acted a little
Or maybe not been with him at all.
Or because to that point, because you don't want other people's lack of being able to love in a way deter you from loving. I'm a love out loud type of girl.
Yeah.
So I should have walked away. But then you have to ask, why didn't you? Because you wanted somebody to talk to on Saturday night. You wanted somewhere to go on Thursdays. Mm-hmm. You wanted that more than respect. And you cannot ever achieve any goal if you are not valuing your dignity and respect. But those are things I had to tell myself on those walks.
Yeah. This sounds like something you had to cry out.
Ugly cry.
Yeah. How long were you in this relationship?
So we were in a relationship probably like 10 or 11 months. But I think how long ago was it?
No, I'm like, was this your only relationship like this though?
What I will say is that it made me then look at the relationships and my interactions with men altogether after that.
It does. It forces a window, because if he said it, what were the other ones like? Kind of.
What other mess was I dealing with or willing to deal with because I didn't address things with myself? Was I willing to be, somebody's side chick? Was I willing to be the person that they called on Saturday nights? Where have I allowed myself to be mistreated because I just couldn't walk away?
Wow.
And that one relationship helped me identify relationship patterns. My ability. I just need connection. Why?
Yeah. Quick question. What was your parents' marriage like?
Oh, they were not married, and my daddy had his fun. So I saw relationships
in an unhealthy way.
In a very unhealthy way.
Okay.
And even, my mother had boyfriends who she later dated, lived with, took care of her. I think I never saw love really as a joyful place. So I had to make love joyful for me. That's why I do the things that I do, and I call it joy because it is love.
Yeah.
The walking hour, I say, is my love letter to the city.
Tell me about that trip you took by yourself. How did that turn out?
It was one of the most, I was my own princess. I treated myself so lovely, and I was just able to say, you deserve someone who's going to plan things for you. You deserve someone who's going to show up. I had planned the original trip for the ex-boyfriend because he had taken the bar a few times. And I was like, okay, this time he's going to pass.
And we're going to celebrate.
And we're going to celebrate.
Yeah.
And I booked this trip. So it's like, you are worthy of celebration.
Yeah.
Always remember, don't overlook to celebrate someone else and you don't celebrate yourself. So that trip just reminded me of all the things I was willing to do for somebody else that I had never considered doing for myself. Yeah, I've taken a trip.
Mm-hmm.
But solo trips are a time to sit with yourself.
It is.
In a new environment. Mm-hmm. We don't often realize, I didn't realize until that point, that that's important for your womanhood.
I'm a solo traveler. I do a couple of countries a year, and that's how I know I'm fun. Because I've been able to go to different countries by myself and have a blast. And people ask me, you don't get lonely? I said, I'm never lonely when I travel.
And I'm from Chicago.
I'm never lonely, and I'm never alone when I travel. I said the loneliness that I've experienced in life, I've been more lonely at home.
With people who I'm supposed to love.
Yeah, I've been more lonely at home than I've ever felt traveling. To the point where that almost became almost like a drug, because I knew if I could just get to this country or get to this trip that I would be okay. And I had to learn how to be okay at home. And that's why I asked you, like, what was your trip like? And, like, what did you learn? And what did you bring back home with you from, like, a personal development healing perspective?
Always become your own source of joy.
Yeah.
So then I didn't know what it was, right? But always be able to make yourself feel good. Yeah. Always make yourself appreciate who you are. So it was like I met people from Chicago. I stayed in Cancun, and I think I made it all the way to Tulum with these two random, happened to be from Ghana girls that I met. We took a bus where nobody spoke English, and we just figured it out. But it was like, you can figure shit out.
You can figure it out. Google Translate is a thing.
You can figure it out.
You can figure it out.
So it was just like, you can do everything that you think you need a man on the trip to do, navigate, plan. You don't need him that. You can figure it out.
It changed your perspective, didn't it?
It changed my perspective and opened my eyes to look at me.
Yeah.
Be your own joy. That way everybody else is just adding to the joy.
How do you love differently now?
That's a good question. I try to love people with their words now, but how do I love different? Mm-hmm. That's a good question. We're gonna have to come back to that because I want to answer it, but I think how I love different is like I don't try to. I'm not trying to like match energy. I'm loving, and when I don't, so it's like I love different because I know when to put it back. You get love off the jump from me.
Yes.
There's no, and this is all relationships. Mm-hmm. From day one, the moment I meet you, it is all love. It is all joy. Our interactions and our ability to communicate. Because now walking has been, you got to communicate, you got to talk, you got to speak up about everything to myself. Like that's why I walk a lot by myself, because as I talk to myself. But it allows me to, it's my love language. So I love now because I'm just loving free. And the moment that we can't communicate in a way to keep the love ebbing and flowing, then it's probably time to stop loving.
Yeah.
It was nice while it lasted.
Do you find yourself ending relationships a lot sooner now?
Absolutely. The last guy I dated, I was like, this is not going to work. It was beautiful. I think you're a great person. I really think you like me. You don't have the capacity for me.
Yeah.
And so I'm able to recognize capacity in a way that I did in that relationship.
Yeah.
So it was just like from now to then, I'm able to recognize love when I see it, someone who loves themselves. Mm-hmm. because it's about how you treat yourself. You can't treat me better than you treat yourself.
That's true.
And so I'm able to see that. Yeah, so for me, it's just, love is, I'm always open to it.
Yeah.
From all sources. But I know when it's not for me, and I know when it's not going to serve me. And if I can't serve up love, we probably need to just not interact.
You have a daughter, right? 18. What has this journey helped you teach her? Because
Patience.
Okay. Because she'll be dating soon, if she's not already dating. And you may have learned a lot of bad lessons in love.
Boundaries too.
Yeah.
I think this journey has taught me about boundaries. So the conversation about boundaries
is it in friendships and regular relationships and relationships with romantic relationships? Yeah.
Yes. I've taught her the importance of both.
Yeah.
When it comes to boundaries, and in the book I talk about boundaries because it is a form of love.
It is.
Knowing when to say yes, knowing when to say no. Boundaries are important, and she grew up, unfortunately, seeing her father and I have a lack of boundaries and how it came to a head and it wasn't good for anybody, right? And so now we talk about, the importance of like being clear what you want out of something and then communicating, being clear about expectations, being clear about what you're comfortable with. Like boundaries are important. Don't look to them as a way to exclude people from your life. Look for boundaries as a way to invite people in, because when they're clear, the right people will stay and the wrong people will leave.
Yes. How do you teach her to deal with the consequences of boundaries? Because I feel like consequences can be both good and bad. When you have boundaries, you may not be able to be friends with everybody. You may be single longer when you have boundaries. And I think that's why the older I get, I have a lot of empathy for people that don't have them, because I know what complete singleness feels like. And a lot of people can't deal with that level of silence. There's a magnitude of silence, because I don't have children and I'm also not dating at the moment. And there's a level of silence that I've just grown accustomed to, that I know a lot of people, men and women, just aren't used to that. But I am comfortable sitting in the boundaries that I have right now, and a lot of people aren't. So how do you teach your daughter just to be okay?
And it's to go back to something that you said earlier about social media, right?
Yeah.
Because social media doesn't teach you to be apart. Like it's you should, but you got to have time for yourself. So I think it's a conversation that she and I are like starting to have.
It's blooming, huh?
It's blooming, right? She's going into her senior year, because there's going to be points in your life where being alone is probably one of the healthiest things you can do for yourself. And so you have to look at it as a health benefit. You have to look at it like it's a vitamin. She's an athlete. It's just as important that you sometimes sit in silence than you are training in the gym. Like both are important to your growth as an athlete. And so knowing when those are appropriate are things that we're starting to have a conversation about. And she's seeing boundaries in real time.
Yeah.
In so many ways. She understands mommy will walk away from a job because they've overstepped the boundary that I have for myself.
Your self-preservation almost. Yeah.
And so she's seen it. Mommy is no longer talking to this person because they couldn't respect this boundary. And so having those conversations with her and using those words, again, it's reinforcing for myself, and it's showing her, okay, well, yeah, this is why this looks different. This is why this feels different. Boundaries are clutch, and we've always been looked at them as there's something about people with boundaries. No, people with boundaries understand themselves.
Yes.
So the more you understand with yourself, you go on walks, you spend time by yourself, you sit in silence, not because you don't want to hear the world, but because you need to hear yourself before you can really hear the world.
Say that part again.
You need to hear yourself before you can really hear the world. And if you don't sit in silence, you can't hear. Everything just sounds like motion, swish, swish, swish.
Yeah.
You don't get to hear the waves crashing. Everything, it sounds like a loud thud because you're just moving. It's like, no. Before you can hear or interpret anything else, what are you interpreting? What are you saying to yourself? And if when you're sitting in silence, you're not sitting in love and peace, then you got to figure out why. You got to dig into that.
You're right. Let's talk about your book. I think this is a good segue into the book, Good, Better, Becoming. Tell the audience a little bit about the book and what they can expect to kind of learn from this book.
Well, first I want to talk about the name.
Yeah.
So Good, Better, Becoming. I'm a huge Chicago Bears fan, diehard Bears fan. And if anybody knows anything about a comeback, it's a Bears fan. Okay?
Yes.
We have watched them not be the team everybody is rooting for.
Yeah.
Suddenly, Green Bay Packer fans are switching over, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the book, I'm a huge fan, and they just played phenomenally last season. We are becoming. Right.
Yes.
And one of my favorite books that I picked up and read in the end was Michelle Obama's book, Becoming. So I was just like, this was the Good, Better, Becoming. Like it just happened, and everything that we're going, because as a woman, I have to be so aware of everything in this world, right? Mm-hmm. And so it just felt like the time to say becoming, right?
But what are you becoming?
A person who's walking in purpose.
Yeah.
Who's really like, what is my purpose? Pause, think about it, figure it out, walk in it, and then go after it. And realizing that has different faces, right? But I know I want to be a person that spreads joy through what I do. I know that I can't be doing anything. That's why I'm so excited to talk about the book. It helped me return to myself as I wrote it.
Yeah.
As I wrote it, I returned to myself. So it's an invitation for women to return to themselves, to slow down, to address burnout, to address grief, to address change. And as you do that, you'll be like, oh, these jeans fit a little bit better.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I don't need my Spanx with this dress no more. Because walking really helps the fupa. It does.
It does, yeah.
And so it's an invitation to say, you've tried everything. You've been to, and listen, I'm a big go to therapy, but sometimes you don't know what to take into therapy if you don't slow down and like kind of, and I let things like the last person I was dating, I let something jar me on a walk, and then I knew exactly what to unpack in therapy.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You see what so it was like, okay, this is, okay, girl, like now this is what I did, and this is what I told myself I did. This was because I always say, when you're asking yourself the ugly questions, it's that first thought that's the truth, and then everything else is your mind trying to, give a scapegoat.
Yeah, try to give you an excuse.
And that first lump of truth is what I take back to my therapist, because I do believe we all need a therapy. Mm-hmm. But I think the first form comes with being truthful to yourself. Your therapist can't hear what you're afraid to address.
That's true.
You have to address it. Walking is how I started to address some of the things that I wanted to, I don't want to say change, but I wanted to understand about myself.
That's fair. So Good, Better, Becoming is about your walking journey?
It's about my walking journey. It's about my healing journey. And so it's 21 days of different prompts and thoughts and scriptures.
Is it leading people through to walk every day for 21 days?
It's leading people to walk it's leading people to walk every day for 21 days.
Okay.
And you can listen. Science recommends an hour, but I also say in the beginning, do what's good for you, sis.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you may not have it. Break it up. I even suggest do 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes, after work, or 15. But it's encouraging. There's rest, because something that we don't do as women is rest. Mm-hmm. So day 7 is all about resting. Now I believe in active rest, but maybe that day, instead of an hour walk, you just do 30. Mm-hmm. And if you're up to 30 minutes, maybe that day you just do some stretching.
Right.
We have to rest. Our cups are empty if we don't rest. Yeah. And so it's a reminder to do that. So it's like everything you need to jumpstart your speed up to life. But this requires you to slow down.
I love this, and I can't wait to get it. So the reason the book isn't on the table is because Pamiya just Friday just uploaded it to Amazon, but I don't know anyone else that has a 21-day walking journal that has prompts of thoughts and things you can reflect on as you're going on your walking journey. I think that is amazing. I have a friend that when the weather's great, this was actually a good walking day. Come to think about it.
It was so funny because I was like, man, I want to go for a walk.
Yeah, and I got so much going on today. It's not going to happen today, but her and I would walk every morning from like 7 to 8 a.m. right before I start my 9 a.m. meetings. And I would tell you, it really sets the tone. And in those walks, that's how we begin developing our friendship. I know what she's saying without saying it, and she knows what I'm saying it without saying it, because how can two walk together unless they agree? And I understand.
Come on now.
Yeah,
I caught that. I got it. Yes.
Yeah. So we begin to develop a friendship on this walk, but I also started doing some walks by myself during like my lunch breaks and walking to the beach and like laying out. And so I think that this book would be a great accompaniment to anybody that's looking to incorporate walking as a workout, as a means to really just unpack more about themselves.
Yeah,
Is that the right kind of...
No, and that's funny because it's like I wanted, and I didn't overly focus on my weight loss in the journal, just because it's not, we have to stop doing things for an aesthetic look, right? And so while, yes, I talk about I'm a jeans fit, that's all great. Those are secondary benefits to how I'm able to show up for myself. And because I'm able to show up for myself in such a loving, joyful way, I'm able to show up for the world better. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's more about the journey of returning to yourself so you can return back to the things you love. Some people are like, oh, I'm so burnt out with work. Let's unpack the burnout so that you enjoy the work. The work you enjoy. Enjoy. It's the everything else. But you got to slow down and unpack the everything else.
It's the losing of emotional weight then. It is that's really what it's about.
Yeah, it's an emotional weight loss.
Yeah, I love that.
And then there's other benefits.
So tell people about this, where to find this book now that it's released. And I'm very excited about that for you.
But I also want to say something about that just really quickly.
Yeah.
Life is about pivots, right? The initial thoughts and things that you have going on in your head and your mind, allow yourself to pivot. It is, go with the plan. But be okay that if it changes a little bit in the course, just like you could say, I'm going to walk here and end up somewhere else, you still walked. You still move your body.
It still counts, right?
And so keep that in mind as you get this book. But it's available on Amazon. You can get it on my website, walkingwithpamiya.com. You can book a one-on-one session. You can get it and give it to friends. Like, it's going to be everywhere. And I say that because I already reached out to a feminist-owned bookstore. That's why I'm having it. My book launch, they're gonna carry it. There's another one that they connected me to. They reach out to them. They probably would want to carry it too. Mm-hmm. So you can definitely find it on Amazon. But I will be popping up and walking along the lake all summer. So I just came up with this on Thursday. I'm like, well, the best way to get out here and really promote the book is just walk around with it.
Yeah, follow her journey on TikTok too,
yes.
Right?
Oh my goodness. So I just announced a book walk sip at, I just announced a date on TikTok. Mm-hmm. My followers went up almost like 700 followers since I just announced. Today I dropped a TikTok of where we're actually having it at, a Black-owned coffee shop in Bronzeville, Sip and Savor. Like, people want this.
Yes, it's a desire.
There's a
to
desire
heal,
to
really,
heal and be in community. Yeah, and I think my time in HR is I wanted something sustainable and accessible. So listen, I love a HIIT workout. I teach spin. I teach dance. That's not for everybody.
It's not, because those are intense.
Those can be very intense.
Yeah,
but walking, it can, again, weighted vests, walking incline. Faster walkers. But see, when you come to a walking hour event, we have pace. Go if you want to walk fast, but there's usually 2 or 3 people, right? There's usually 5 and maybe one to hang in the middle, another 7 in the back. Some scraggle back and forth. So it's just, you find your tribe.
Right.
So it's so easy that it almost is, my new question to people is, why not walking?
Why not?
Why not walking?
How do people plug into the walking hour?
So you can find us on Instagram at _ the walking hour. You can stay connected with me through the book page, Walking with Pamiya. You can follow my personal page, Love It Till You Live It. We're also on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm plug in all the places. Find me. We'll find you back. TikTok, it is Walking with Pamiya as well. Find me, connect with me. I'll hug you. I'll walk with you. Like, I am the type of person who, if you talk about wanting to do more and I meet you on a random Saturday, it's like, hey girl, did you want to get together for a walk this week? Like, I'm in your DM, you text your other friend, like, girl I met at your party Saturday is asking me if I want to work out. I'm that person.
Yeah. I love that, because sometimes people just need a little bit of encouragement.
You need a buddy.
Some people need a buddy. Everybody's not that disciplined. And so having someone say, hey, I'm going to wait for you here, I'm going to meet you here, it compels people to get up, because I don't want her just waiting out there for me. Now I gotta get up and put my clothes on and get out there, and they'll meet you where you are. I always like giving my guests an opportunity to speak life, because you dropped a lot of gems. And I said the common thread was walking, but the common thread really is you getting back to yourself. And for people that are just looking to feel like themselves again and love themselves differently, which is what I believe that you learned through this journey.
Yes.
I want you to take a look at this camera, and I want you to speak to those people, because I really believe you've done so much pouring into yourself. I think it's only fair just to give just a little bit of it back, so that they have something that they can take on their own journeys as they're trying to heal and learn more about themselves as well. Yeah.
What I will say to that is that we don't know how long we're going to be here, right? And so that you can enjoy every day that you're here, you have the opportunity to be here, is love on yourself. And so for me, love is an action. My pastor said this year, the victory is in the verb. You got to do. And so walking is a way to do something, to love on yourself. And when you open up and unpack things that you haven't addressed, while they will be painful, I'm not even going to lie to you and say that they will not be. There will be some days where you just cry. But that's how you learn to sit in silence.
Yeah.
That's how you learn to become your own love champion. So if I could say anything to anyone, is you owe it to yourself to love on yourself the way your 6-year-old self did. The girl with the ponytails or the long curly hair, you owe it to yourself. You loved yourself coming home from school every day. And so I want us to return back to a space where we just are truly happy, not because everything is perfect, but because we're able to walk through the imperfections, which is life, a series of stuff happening. But if you always be the love and light for yourself first before the world has an opportunity to tell you you're not enough, those words, I'm so, like when you ask me about corporate, I'm so in love with the journey that I'm on now that I haven't really even thought about it. Mm-hmm. I'm writing this piece and saying someone is going to be better off because I did this, is what walking into purpose feels like. And so if you love on yourself enough, you'll find your purpose and you'll find love within yourself like you were when you were 6. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that warms my heart.
That warms my heart, Pamiya. I thank you so much for coming to Crossroads and Callings. I hope that we touched on all the things that you wanted to touch on. Like, we talked about so much.
Listen, yeah. I think this conversation inspired me in ways that I will, I think that I'm having a moment.
Yeah.
And I'll say this. When I used to, what do you want to do when you go to college? You want to study communications, want to be on the radio. Mm-hmm. And so this is the second podcast that I've recorded since I've wrote the book. And each time I'm like, I really like telling this story of joy.
Yeah. I definitely feel that that joy. I love the vulnerability that you shared. I also love the very real journey of getting back to yourself and learning how to love yourself. I feel like growing up, people say you need to love yourself, and it's so cliche, and they never really tell you what that means or even how to do that. It wasn't.
And there was no book about it.
There was no book, and the older I get, the more I understand what that means. Like liking yourself too. I had a friend one time, I was cleaning my house, and she was like, well, why are you cleaning your house now? I was like, I have a guest coming. And she was like, you don't love yourself enough to have a clean house just because? And it hit me, like, she was like, do you not deserve a clean house? And it's really giving yourself all the things that you would give to someone else and seeing the good in you. And people don't teach you that when you're growing up.
No.
So I'm really grateful for your book. I'm really grateful that you're sharing this journey of becoming and getting back to self, because I think people that have been through weight loss journeys or are mothers or are married, you lose a little bit of that.
If you worked for anyone other than yourself,
yes,
you lose,
corporate America is so disrespectful. Yes, it pulls away from you, kills your confidence a little bit, especially if you've been laid off or fired or put on a PIP. Like I know all too well.
All of the above.
Yes, but giving people almost the space and the privilege to say, you deserve this time.
You deserve it.
Yeah.
You deserve the 20 minutes, or whether you have to split that walk up, whether you only go for 15, you deserve some intentional time with yourself.
Yes. Some quiet time, some slow down time.
Some slow down time.
Yeah.
And if you're a busy mom and you can't always make it to the brunches and the day parties and all that, invite a friend to walk with you.
Yeah.
Take the journey. Day 17 is like the community day. The thought is that you would walk with a friend or a neighbor, but be intentional about those connections. I find that when I started to become a little bit more intentional about my friendships with my girlfriends in ways that weren't just day parties and brunches, our relationships got better.
Yes, they change. Yeah, they
And
got roots now, don't they?
We got roots, and I was like, I love that for us. Now we do that more than anything else. Not that we don't do all the other things, but like, again, we're getting older. Like we need this for so many reasons. And let's not even talk about premenopause. So,
girl,
because
that's a whole nother episode.
Because like the results around walking and premenopause are ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'll be releasing something about that sooner or later too.
Those UV rays work wonders for those that are going through that. See, I told someone else I felt like a plant. And I'm like, the more I'm outside, the more I get the UV rays, the more I take these walks, or even riding my bike, I'm like, I feel so much better. And I don't know if I lost inches or weight. It wasn't even about that. I just wanted to feel good in what I consider a new body now that I'm living in this new decade. And I just wanted to be okay with Chimere and being outside and just getting that fresh air, getting those UV rays, just 360.
The sun does something for you.
Yeah, something for the mood.
It really does.
But I do want to thank you for your time
Thank
and
you
being
so
on
much
the
for
show.
having me.
I hope you guys learned something for the conversation. Please get Pamiya's book of Good, Better, Becoming, 21 Days of Walking. Follow her on social media, plug in. So if you're in the Chicagoland area, summer we're in the midst of it. Feels like
today is giving summertime shot, but when we get to we're going to be outside.
Yes. And so for those that are looking to do outside differently, outside of the day parties and all of the things, there's a group that you can plug into that would love for you to literally walk through life with them and reset and take a breath, take a breather. And I think this is a great group to plug into. So I'll drop Pamiya's socials in the lower thirds here. They'll also be in the description of both on YouTube and all podcasting platforms, because those are listening and watching. I want you the opportunity to plug in as well, because I think this is absolutely fabulous. I also want to shout out our partner, the National Public Housing Museum. we're back in the home studio. We're doing a lot season 2, meeting small businesses as well as having authors such as Pamiya come into the home studio as well. So you'll see a lot of the balance. But again, I'm grateful to them for being an amazing partner and showing up for us in that way. So if you're in the Chicagoland area, again, pay them a visit. They will love.
It's a beautiful space.
Yes, they would love to host you, and they have a patio too,
Yes.
for hosting as well. But until next time, please use your crossroads to get you to your calling.